ChatGPT said, "I'll tell you something. If you'd walked up to me 3 years ago, pointed at that sad, ugly little building on Jefferson Avenue with the flaking paint and the mold growing up the walls, and told me I'd end up not just surviving there, but building an empire, I probably would have laughed so hard I'd cry." Back then, I was Sierra Langston, fresh off the kind of divorce that feels like you've been hollowed out with a spoon. 38, 2 daughters, no house, no savings, nothing to my name except the world's most decrepit hair salon. The kind of place where even the cockroaches walked out with a sense of dignity. The sign still read Lux Locks in busted neon, though those lights had died years before, and what I didn't realize, not then, was that the only thing left in my name was that dump. Everything else. Our house in Lenox Hills, the beach condo, the businesses, the cars, even the savings I thought we'd built together. My ex, David, had managed to snatch away by putting it all in his name for tax reasons. You know that old story, girl meets boy, girl trusts boy. Boy turns out to have a law degree in trickery and a PhD in betrayal. Yeah, that happened. His lawyer sat across from me in mediation, ice cold, and told me I should count myself lucky David was generous enough to leave me with anything at all. That anything turned out to be a broken building and the memories of a man who'd moved a 26-year-old influencer into our bed before the ink on the divorce was even dry. He and his new girlfriend, Za, blasted their blessed life all over Instagram, Bible verses and everything, while I was picking mold off the walls and figuring out how to feed my daughters, Nyla and Jade. And let me tell you, nothing will test your pride like watching your kids see you lose everything. And you still have to smile so they won't see our why.so I did what you do. I loaded my girls in my old Corolla, drove to that wreck of a salon, and just sat there, staring at the place that was supposed to be my second act. The air smelled like wet carpet and hair dye gone bad. I sat right on the floor, buried my head in my hands, and cried. My girls, Nyla, 13, stoic beyond her years, and Jade, 9, pure sunlight, just hugged me. "We can fix it, Mom," Nyla said, and Jade piped up, "Can we paint it pink?" I laughed, probably for the first time in weeks, and nodded. I guess we're in the salon business now. Let me tell you, those first weeks were rough. No clients, no cash, leaky pipes, and half the equipment belonged in a dumpster. But you know what? There's a stubborn streak that comes out when your kids are watching. We scrubbed every inch of that place ourselves, painted the walls, hauled in used dryers from another failed shop, and put flyers everywhere from grocery stores to church. We even did pay what you can weekends just to get people in the door. Slowly, so slowly, women started showing up. Women who'd been turned away from the nice salons. Women who wanted a decent silk press and a place where no one judged them for their shoes. Nyla swept floors, Jade made lemonade. I worked 12-hour days on my feet, doing everything from box braids to sew-ins, just trying to keep the lights on. Meanwhile, David and Za became the city's power couple, splashed across magazine covers, launching new luxury businesses, bragging about black excellence on TV while I was mixing bleach in the back room. One day, I just lost it, chucked the remote at the wall. Jade rubbed my back and said, "You're doing excellent too, Mama." I cried in the bathroom that night, but I kept going because I'd rebuilt before and I could do it again. What none of us knew was that buried underneath that tired old salon was something that would flip our world upside down. One Tuesday, a guy from Petrocor shows up in muddy boots, says they're picking up odd readings under my property. Oil-related, he tells me. Oil. I didn't say a word to my daughters, but I Googled for hours. Mineral rights, million-dollar contracts, all that jazz, and learned real quick. If you own the land and the rights, you own what's underneath. I had no clue if I actually did. So I hauled myself to the courthouse, paid $37 I could barely spare, and pulled the deed. When I saw my name on everything, the land, the building, and the mineral rights, I nearly fainted. I couldn't sleep that night, worrying David would find a loophole. I called the only person I trusted, my cousin Renee. Now, Renee's a lawyer with a spine of steel and no time for games. She looked at the deed, looked at me, and said, "You're sitting on a gold mine, Sierra. But don't tell David. Don't talk to anybody without me." So I listened. Petrocore came back a week later with a formal offer, 80 grand up front and 6% royalties. Renee laughed in their faces. Within 2 weeks, she negotiated a deal for $500,000 up front, 18% royalties, plus environmental and relocation guarantees. She worked magic, I swear. The first check hit my account on a Tuesday, and by Wednesday, my bank called to make sure I wasn't the victim of fraud. I didn't rush out and buy a fancy house. No, sir. I fixed up the salon first. New roof, fresh paint, state-of-the-art chairs, the works. Nyla picked out lavender and rose gold. Jade got a corner for her art. We reopened with a new name, Second Chance's Hair Studio. People flocked in, some for the story, most for the vibe. We even went viral on TikTok. Business boomed, and so did the oil rig out back. Then David showed up, swaggering in like he still owned the place, with a suit 2 sizes too big and sadness in his eyes. "Heard about the drilling. Maybe we could talk, grab lunch, you know?" I just stared at him, deadpan. There is no old time, just old mistakes. Nyla came out, sharp as a tack. "Want me to call security, Mom?" David blustered, tried to play the victim, and walked out with his pride in pieces. That was the last time I saw him in my shop. Months later, my first royalty check landed. $300,000. Give or take a few cents. My hands shook so hard I could barely hold my phone. Jade peeked over my shoulder. "Did we win the lottery?" I said, "No, honey, we dug it ourselves." I made a promise. No wild spending, no headlines, just steady growth. I bought out the buildings next door, turned one into a kids' braiding lounge, another into a nail spa, black-owned, black-run, debt-free. I got us a nice home, safe, nothing gaudy. Each girl had her own room, and we were finally, truly home. Then Forbes called. "We're doing a feature on unexpected black women entrepreneurs. You're on our radar." When the article hit, from abandoned salon to oil queen, it blew up my world. Suddenly, old friends wanted to reconnect, business folks wanted a piece of the action, and women, so many women, started reaching out. I read every message, but one stood out. A mom in Alabama, living in her sister's garage, asking, "How did you keep going when you had nothing?" I wrote her back, told her what I told myself. My girls deserved a version of me that didn't quit, that we grew fast. Nyla got into Spelman on a full ride. Jade started a hair care line at 14 and pulled in 15 grand in 3 months. Sundays, we'd sit outside the original salon, now a free mentorship center for girls like them, with "Built from Dust," "Rooted in Power," "Rising Still" painted on the window. I started a foundation, Rooted Women Rising, giving grants and microloans to black women in beauty across the South. 27 women launched businesses that first year, and I cheered at every award ceremony like a proud mama. Of course, David tried to come for alimony. Imagine that. The man who walked away with everything, now crying to the court about how he helped build my success. Renee shut him down in court. I stood up in my best suit, looked the judge in the eye, and told the truth. He left me with rubble. I built gold. The judge ruled in my favor. Nyla whispered, "That's how a queen handles fools." She was right. Awards rolled in, leadership, entrepreneurship, philanthropy. My face on Forbes' top 100 women list. The best message? An 11-year-old girl from Atlanta who wrote, "Miss Sierra, I tell my mom we're not poor, just pre-rich." I framed that note in my office. By the end of the second year, I'd opened 12 salons, 5 spas, a women's retreat, and a tech incubator for black women with ideas but no support. My daughters flourished. We ate dinner together every night. And every Sunday, we remembered where we started at. As for David, he lost his last business, filed for bankruptcy, and now sells used cars in a lot that was once his pride. I saw him once in passing, and I just kept walking. Some folks don't deserve closure, just distance. The last time I took the stage, at the Women's Empowerment Summit in D.C., I stood behind the curtain, shaking, but my girls squeezed my hands. "Go show them what a comeback looks like," they said. So I did. They gave me dust, I told the crowd. I built an empire. The applause was thunderous, but what mattered most was that, for the first time, I felt whole. I was home, and I was unstoppable. Oh, let me ask you, if life hands you rubble, are you ready to build something that'll last? Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me your story. Let's talk about what justice really means, and don't forget, your next breakthrough might just be one decision away.